special episode of The Burn. I am Ben Newman, and you know how we do this every single week. We're bringing you a story of an athlete, an entertainer, a celebrity, somebody performing from the business world at the highest possible level because they connect to their burn, that drive, that fire, what they're sacrificing for. Or maybe somebody that sacrificed for them and the meaning of it, a perspective from challenge and adversity, and that burn ignites their why and their purpose that then causes them to be disciplined in their action on a consistent basis. Today's episode will have a guest, but we're taking a special format today because I looked back on 2022 and so many of the significant things that happened that impacted me. And I remembered from the Mental Toughness Forum, many of you are going to remember my guy, Ben Kenyon, the strength coach for the Philadelphia 76ers. And Ben, every time we've had the opportunity to spend time together, to break bread together, to have phone conversations together, he just shows up with energy and passion. And I remembered he did in his Mental Toughness Forum video. And I know that this period of time during the year, you're getting ready to roll into the next year, making sure that you have a roadmap, clear focus, intentional focus on what it takes to be great is everything that Ben talked about in his presentation for the Mental Toughness Forum. So we're going to dial this thing up. We're going to lock you in with a special Burn episode, bringing you Ben Kenyon, my dear friend, one of those guys where when I talk about iron sharpens iron relationships in life, that's what it is for he and I. So my dear friend Ben Kenyon, thank you for being who you are, showing up the way that you do, and making the impact that you make in the weight room, on the basketball court, and in everything that you do in life, building everything that makes you great. I appreciate you. Everybody, Ben Kenyon.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben Kenyon. I'm the head strength and conditioning coach for the Philadelphia 76ers, founder of the Great Day Squad, speaker, author, and I'm so happy to be here today on the Mental Toughness Forum. I want to say thank you to Ben Newman. This is an amazing opportunity. I feel so blessed, so lucky to be one of the speakers that you've asked to come speak at your forum. Before I jump into this, I want to let you guys know a little more about myself. I've been working in pro sports for the last 17 years. The last 10 years I've been in the NBA, 7 years with the Portland Trail Blazers, and now 3 years with the Philadelphia 76ers. When I was with the Blazers, I had an amazing opportunity to work with Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum, some high-level guys that have gone out of their way to continue to grow and achieve. And so it was really cool for me to be able to actually help them grow. Now over here with the Sixers, being able to work with Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, this entire team is incredible. And again, as a coach, I believe that this is an awesome opportunity to continue to not only push them, but push myself, right? I've learned that as I continue to grow, it'll help me push these guys to be the best they can possibly be. So today, we're going to talk about pushing to the edge in a high-performing environment. This whole setup is basically what I believe that all pro athletes, all high-level people, all high achievers have gone through in their life at one point to continue to take it to the edge, to continue to put themselves in a position to thrive. And I'm going to give you the 3-step process on how to do that. I'm going to give you the tools and the resources and exercises that you need to help you guys grow. One goal for today is to be able to push to the edge. That's my one goal for today. If I can give you guys the ability to push to the edge, I feel like I've won for the day. It's 3 steps, 3 easy steps, I believe, that you can use consistently every day to take it to the edge. Step 1 is establish your comfort zone. Step 2 is establish your growth zone. And step 3, take it to the edge. So let's step into the first zone. The first zone is the comfort zone. A question I like to ask to define the comfort zone is what derails you? What is it that's out there in the world that's putting you in an uncomfortable environment, that's putting you in a stressful environment, that's putting you in a space where you can actually get close to burnout, where you can get close to being uncertain? What's putting you in these spaces, right? It's important to actually designate that on your journey to the edge, because as you continue to achieve, the noisiness turns up. I've learned on my journey, going from being an intern, sleeping on the floor, my first year as a strength coach, all the way up until now, working at the highest level in sports. I've learned the noisiness turns up, right? And the noisiness affects how you execute if you don't know how to block it out. But me being able to actually declare that and know that that's a thing, it gives me the focus now to say, all right, when I take this next step, when I take this next leap into this chapter working with the Sixers, I know for a fact things are going to come. So I'm prepared, and I'm going out of my way to kind of be in tuned and focused on what that noisiness looks like for this level. One of the things that I feel that a lot of people have in common when it comes to comfort zone is burnout. Regardless if you're an athlete, professional athlete, doctor, nurse, firefighter, teacher. If you're a high performer in general, a person that pushes themselves, I'm confident that you're probably going to run into burnout or run close to it at one point, right? That's a comfort zone thing. That's a thing that can derail you. And my goal is for you to really understand the importance of recognizing when that's coming and recognizing the environment that you may be stepping into that may cause that. Deloitte did this cool study, and during the study, they found out that 91% of people say they're burnt out and it negatively affects their work. So 91% of people are saying that burnout actually negatively affects their work. To me, that's something that derails you. That's something that keeps you in the comfort zone. That's something that does not allow you to thrive. And again, my goal is for you to thrive. So being able to recognize that is step one. Step two, point two, is that 83% say it negatively affects their personal relationships. Loneliness is a really big thing in the world. I can tell you right now that as you continue to push and thrive and want more success, I'm going to guarantee you that you will have moments of isolation, but you don't want loneliness. But you will have moments of isolation. That's just a part of the process. I think back to when Dame Lillard was working out to be where he is right now. He had to go to a gym by himself or with his one coach and shoot a lot of jump shots, right? For hours on hours on hours, right? He had to be isolated so that he can continue to get in the work, right? But over the years, that may run you down a little bit, right? So whatever it is for you that you have to continue to do, continue to practice, is it speaking? Is it writing? Is it figuring out better ways to teach somebody? You have to do that in isolation so that you can continue to improve your craft. But again, burnout is something that can potentially derail you on that path because it may negatively affect how you connect with people. And we don't want you to go down that road where you don't want to be able to connect with family. You don't want to be able to connect with friends. I want you to put yourself in a position where eventually that burnout isn't a thing that actually derails you. Next big thing that I have on here is inflammatory foods. Again, I'm a performance coach. I'm a strength coach. I believe, what you put in your body affects everything that you go through, right? So if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling a little sluggish, a lot of the times it can come from inflammatory foods. It can come from foods your body does not agree with. So again, I'm just going back to what I believe the comfort zone is, and I believe that inflammatory foods are things that can derail you if you're trying to stay locked in. And we'll speak a little more about that and how we can actually balance that out in the next zone. The next piece is ever-changing environment. I work in the NBA. Again, I've been blessed to work in the NBA for the last 10 years. I can tell you right now, this is an environment that's not fit for everybody. I know a lot of people want to come and continue to push in their career and figure out how they can continue to grow and get to the NBA. But the one thing that I've seen over the last 10 years is a lot of people have been derailed and did not make it as long as they wanted, and last as long as they wanted in the NBA because they weren't able to keep up with the ever-changing environment. I promise you, there's so many things that happen in one day that mentally, if you're not grounded, physically, if you're not grounded, spiritually, if you're not grounded, you will not be able to thrive. But understanding that and knowing that an ever-changing environment may throw you off is super important. And then the last thing, uncertainty. Uncertainty is huge. I feel like over the last 2 to 3 years, COVID has put us in a position to feel very uncertain about job stability, about what's going on at home. I've got some friends that I worked with that were coaches, nutritionists, high-level people that were struggling because they had to go home and now be teachers on top of doing their job, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. They didn't know when school was going to start back up. But the fun part about those folks is they figured out a way. They figured out a way to say, all right, this is my comfort zone. How can I now get to that next step and continue to push to the edge because I want to continue to thrive in this high-performing environment? So these are just a few things I put up here, but there's way more that can derail you. So actually, I want to give you, let's just say 30 seconds to now pick up your pen and paper and write down at least 2 to 3 things that you believe can derail you. And again, it's important to be honest with yourself and truly understand like, hey, like this is something that does not help me. I'll be vulnerable with you for a second. I have to eat a certain way before I speak, or the next day I feel groggy. So if I go out and I eat, some sort of red meat, a hefty, hearty meal, the next day, if I have to speak, if I have to show up and really execute on something, I'll feel very sluggish. And again, I'll get a little further into that nutritional piece in a second, but that goes back to my inflammatory foods, right? But that's something I had to like recognize over time because I want to continue to climb. So take 2 more seconds and just think about it and write it down. Write down 2 to 3 things that you believe will derail you as you continue to push to the edge in your environment. So the next step is the growth zone. As we step into this, I want you to think about the growth zone as the key exercises that are going to push you to thrive. The key exercises that are going to push you from the comfort zone all the way to the edge. I put a couple up here that I believe can help you thrive, combating some of the things that we spoke about in this section, in the comfort zone. And there's so many more exercises that you can probably do or tools that you can probably use. But this is what I believe, this is actually a really good foundation, right? And I'll say this, at the end, I'm actually going to give you guys like a card and I'll send it to you guys so that you can actually have these exercises, all the questions, all the stuff that I talk about today, so you can continue to use this as you push to the edge. So first exercise, or first thing, is sleep routine. I believe sleep routine is everything. Over the years, over the last 10 years, I've been up, down, left, right. If you've never heard the story about Great Day Squad, my whole goal with this personal development platform is to conquer burnout and achieve greatness every day. Why? Because I actually burnt out myself. And a big part of that was my lack of sleep. At one point, I was sleeping about 2 hours a night, trying to do everything. I was doing a little too much. I was trying to execute and perform at a level that didn't make any sense for my life at that point. And my sleep suffered. I struggled with that. But how I got back on track was getting a nice solid sleep routine, putting myself in a room where it was 69 degrees or below, making sure that the room was dark and quiet. So I had the blackout curtains, I had the earplugs. I had to really push myself to get into this groove of sleeping well. Why? Because I know during the day, the next day, I was going to be able to show up, right? I don't drink coffee. Caffeine does not work for me in my heart. So I have to really rely on sleep. So getting I think about 7 hours is the most optimal for me. And so now I'm trying to give you the exercises or the tools that I know is going to help you find your optimal sleep. So again, finding a nice solid sleep routine, making sure that the room is 69 degrees or below, making sure that you have, it's nice and dark and quiet. You can do blackout curtains, you can do earplugs, making sure that the bed's comfortable, right? Making sure you have really cool pillows. Purple pillows are really cool. Pillow to use, Tuft and Needle is my favorite bed. I feel like I've sold 1,000 of them. I don't have any stock or anything with Tuft and Needle. I think I probably should, but it's an amazing bed. I ended up getting it, let's just say 5 or 6 years ago. And I've literally pushed it to athletes, coaches I work with, other high performers in the world, and it really will help your sleep. Being comfortable at night is very important, and it's affordable. Next is your nutrition routine. So I talked about inflammatory foods over here. Now I'm talking about anti-inflammatory foods. Anti-inflammatory foods are huge, right? There's a book that I love called The Plan. Can you get that, Nick? And we'll make sure this pops up on the screen at one point so you can see it. But this book actually helped me a whole lot. The title of the book is called The Plan. It's Eliminate the Surprising Healthy Foods that are making you fat and lose weight fast. The title is catchy, and it talks about fat, but what's happening is you're actually getting inflamed and you're holding on to water, right? So during that process, you're actually gonna weigh more. But if you figure out your anti-inflammatory foods that work for you, again, everybody's different. If you look at the book, The Plan, it'll actually help you out with understanding how to actually point to the foods that don't work best for you. So broccoli may be a great food for me, but not a great food for you. And we'll learn that over the journey of the 21 days that you go through this fast, when you start to implement, or you take away foods and then you start to implement new ones over time. But read the book, check it out. Helps out with anti-inflammatory foods. Again, if I eat inflammatory foods prior to speaking, doing anything that I need to do at a high level, I'm a little groggy. The acidity of the food kind of slows me down. And it puts me in that position where I go right back to my comfort zone and feel like I'm starting to be derailed. And again, I can push through, but I want to be able to execute at an extremely high level all the time. So let's figure out what's going to help me and what's going to hurt me. So again, growth zone exercise or growth zone resource is making sure you figure out your inflammatory foods. Next is hydration. And I believe hydration is something that a lot of us skip over because we don't really understand it sometimes, right? We think, oh, I drank 2 16-ounce bottles of water in the morning, like I'm good. No, dude, like at one point you're gonna go outside for a walk, or you're gonna go for a run, you're gonna go to work. At one point you have to, rehydrate. And I get it, not everybody's gonna be an athlete. I feel like athletes have to hydrate on an extremely high level because they sweat a lot. You might be an everyday athlete. You might go for runs, you might do things, you might sign up for marathons or 5Ks. Go out of your way to hydrate, and it's super simple. Think about or do the math of 2/3 your body weight, or multiply 2/3 times your body weight, and you drink that in ounces. So 2/3 times your body weight, and you're supposed to drink that in ounces. And it might be a decent amount of water to drink, but I promise you, your hydration will help you with a couple of things. It will help you with your hunger, so you'll feel more satiated. And a lot of the times you eat inflammatory foods because you're starving and you need something quick to eat. Well, a lot of the times you can drink some water and it'll help you not want those quick eats or those quick bites that are not gonna help you out. Those are my 2 things for nutrition. Again, I can dive super deep, but I believe that these are 2 things that you can do right now today to help you push to that edge, on top of making sure that you have a great sleep routine. I didn't share this earlier, but I wanna make sure to highlight this book. This book is called The Promise of Sleep. And can you get that, Nick? Cool. I love this book. It's an old school looking book, but it's very up to date when it comes to the practicality on how to find your sleep routine. It breaks down the science of what's going on, but then it gives you some really cool practical tools and resources to utilize. And that was recommended by Dr. Sherry Ma, who's a high-level sleep doctor. And she said that this book may be a little dated, but at the same time, it's giving you the information that's necessary, that's necessary for you to execute and have a great sleep routine. So check that book out as well. Last couple things I'm going to give you in the growth zone. We've got exercise routine. I love this one. Fitness is everything for me. Again, I explained to you before that I don't drink caffeine. It is my comfort zone thing. It derails me. It puts me in a space where I feel funky. I don't want to feel funky. I don't want you to feel funky. So I feel like exercise is something that we all can do more of, right? So having an opportunity to go for a run, jog, walk, meditate. If you need a group to run with, Great Day for a Run on Strava from Great Day Squad is a great group you can now sign up for. We offer a whole bunch of cool free challenges. You can go out there and do them with friends and family. But I feel like exercise is going to be one of the top things that's going to allow you to continue to push, continue to grow. It gets your endorphins going, it gets your energy up. And it's actually my jolt in the morning, right? So I used to have coffee when I first started in the NBA because, the hours are just crazy. You're flying all over the place and you need that energy. Well, I went out of my way to say no to coffee. I'm just going to get up and go run and do a 5K. I'm going to put myself in a position so that I can have a healthier choice. And again, I might have to sacrifice a couple of things so I can actually get my rest, the night before, maybe go to bed a little early. But I'm going to get up nice and early and figure out how to get this 5K in because I know it's going to give me the energy I need to get it done. Last two things, a recovery routine and community. I'll touch on recovery routine really quickly. I believe active recovery is everything. Yoga, walking, stretching, a massage, something that allows you to recover from your week, recover from your month, recover from your tough times. Why is it important to do some sort of active recovery? Because we all have some sort of metabolic waste, some sort of metabolic buildup in our body. Again, you may not be an athlete. You may not even signed up for a race, as of recent, because you've just been so busy. Cool. There's still waste building up in your body. There's still lactate there that you have to figure out how to flush out. And so the best way to do that is active recovery. Yoga, walking outside, walk near some water, do a hike in the mountains. Put yourself in a space where you can get that clarity. And then the last piece is community. Community is amazing because it helps speak to the relationships piece that I was talking about before. Again, what derails you is having a lack of real connectedness, authentic relationships. You need people to continue to help you and cheer you on along the way. So go out of your way to find community. I believe if you can continue to wear your core values on your sleeve, and I'm not going to dive too deep into that today, but if you can wear your core values on your sleeve, you will find the people that will light you on fire and put you in a position so that you can continue to take it to the edge and grow. So that's the growth zone. That's what I believe is necessary to actually step outside your comfort zone and officially push to the edge. And the edge is fun. The edge is super simple. The edge is what tool, or it's a question, it's what tool, resource, or exercise will you use today? And the reason I set it up as a question is so that you can now go look back at your life, your schedule, your thing, your family, all the stuff that you've got going on and say, all right, what can I actually utilize right now today, right? Is it going out of my way to say, hey, I got to hydrate more? Is it saying, all right, I can make a small tweak and get the blackout curtains? I can go get the earplugs. I can figure out how to get involved in a community. Whatever it is, I want you to go out of your way to do it like today, like right now. Why? Because high achievers that continuously succeed, that continuously grow and achieve, they execute on a daily basis. They figure out how to take it to the edge on a daily basis. They make sure that their priorities are straight and their routine is nice and tight. And so with this 3-step process, My goal is to give you a routine, to give you a focus, to actually make every day great, to put yourself in a position where it's after doing, let's just say 30 days of this, you now have a consistent routine that you can execute on. So again, taking it to the edge is pretty much saying, what am I gonna do today? What tool, what resource, what exercise am I gonna practice today to now get things done, right? And the goal is to do one thing every day. I believe some of the athletes I've worked with, from Dame Lillard to Joel Embiid to CJ McCollum, these high-level dudes, they didn't do it overnight. They didn't go from having an idea on something to now being one of the best athletes in the world. It was repetition, it was consistency, it was their ability to now say, all right, here's my comfort zone, here are the things that are gonna derail me and distract me, here's my growth zone, here are the things that are gonna help push me to thrive, and then today, I'm gonna focus on this as a thing I can take to the edge. And you can do the same thing. So again, the goal today was to push to the edge. I feel like we did a good job of pushing to the edge. I gave you some exercises in the 3-step process that'll now allow you to take it to the edge on a daily basis. I would love to hear how you're taking it to the edge. If you're on IG, you can follow me at Ben Kenyon or Ben_Kenyon_, and let me know how everything's going. One thing I actually want to do too is I want to put all this in a one-sheeter and send it to you guys. So if you want to DM me on IG, Ben_Kenyon_, I'll send this to you. I'll send you the one-sheeter so you can have it. If you're an email person, it's bk@greatdaysquad.com. If you're on LinkedIn, it's Ben Kenyon. Again, I'm so happy to have delivered this talk to you guys. This is super fun, super awesome. This is my first time at the Mental Toughness Forum. Hopefully this information has helped you guys grow. I want you guys to continue to achieve and continue to thrive, dude. I'm a performance coach that loves seeing people win. Again, I get to work with 15 amazing athletes every day, but my mission is to continue to push all this good content, all this good information out so that the rest of the world can continue to grow and achieve as well. Have an amazing day. Stay blessed, stay awesome, and make today great. Peace out.